Hey, what's up guys, TheJordude here, back again with a Nerf Shadowverse news video. They just announced the January Nerfs that are going to be taking place on January 23rd. So let's go over what cards they're changing, what the changes are, and my opinions on these Nerfs. The first card that they are changing is Magic Illusionist. So this is of course the Rune card, silver 2/2, and they're changing him from a 2 health Faller to 1 health, so he's going to be a 2/1 for 2 play points. When he evolves, he becomes a 4/3. So Magic Illusionist, of course, was a very powerful card for Dirt Rune. Really hard to remove off the board, and he would always get a lot of damage in, force your opponent to commit or waste a lot of damage into Illusionist just to remove him off the board. So I really understand how he got nerfed here. I think he was probably the best card to be nerfed in Dirt Rune. Dirt Rune, of course, being the tier 1 deck as it is in rotation. So making him 1 health is actually, I think, a really significant change to him, because as we saw from Soul Squasher, which got cut down from a 3 play of to a 2 play of, it's much more easier to kill 1 health followers than it is in 2, because things like Goblin, Fairies, Skeletons, Ivory Dragon, like there's so many magic missiles. There's so many things that could do 1 damage, but that 2 damage was kind of hard to get. So being 1 damage, it's a lot easier to remove Illusionist off the board. He'll eat up the Earth Rights quicker, and just much more easier overall to handle. So Magic Illusionist, I think, is a pretty good nerf here. And do I think this will affect Dirt Rune that much in the upcoming meta? Probably not, to be honest, in rotation. Because Magic Illusionist in rotation it's still a fair card. Like Dirt Rune, the power of Dirt Rune was mainly because they have a pretty good early game, like with Illusionist, Carl, things like that. They get chip damage in early with their followers, and then late game, like mid to late game, they have like their Levi's, they have Wizardess of Oz into Mutagenic Bolts, Chain Lightnings. They have all that kind of burn damage where they don't really care about their board anymore. So Magic Illusionist, I think it is going to weaken the power of Dirt Rune, but I still think Dirt Rune is still going to be a very powerful deck in the upcoming format, for rotation at least. So I am happy about this nerf though. I do think this card was like really powerful as a 2-drop. And the next card they're changing is Immortal Things. So basically they're keeping everything the same, except they're upping his play point cost. So he's going to be changed from a 7 cost to an 8 play point cost follower. So I think this was kind of like the most obvious way of nerfing Immortal Thing. I do think side games like to keep they like to try to keep the effects of the followers. So usually when they nerf cards, they're going to change the stat line or the play point cost. So they made Immortal Thing more expensive. I do think that's okay, because there's so many ways where you can set up a good sticky board on turn 6, like Skeleton Prince and that kind of stuff, or Prince of Catacombs, and then you drop Immortal Thane, you have the 2 whites, and then you could get a lot of burn damage in with the Thane. So I do think making him 8 cost is really good. It slows down mid-range Shadow. It probably makes Immortal Thane a 2 of. I do think that Immortal Thane is still a really good card, just because it's one card, you get 3 bodies. Well, 4 bodies, because you get the White King afterwards, and you could get chip damage in by trading in your board. So it's like, I do think Immortal Thane is still a really powerful card, just because like nothing else changed except for his cost. So, but I do think he will get cut down to a 2 of, just because if you draw a lot of Immortal Thanes, it could be really clunky in your hand, right? So maybe he gets played as a 2 of, but I do think that a lot of people still might play him as a 3 of. Am I happy about this nerf? I'm like okay about this nerf. I rather would have seen him either probably just something like 1 white instead, or when you get the White King, it keeps its cost a 4 instead of making it cost 0, because I think that was like way too powerful. So I think changing the effect would have been a better balance change for the Immortal Thing. But so that's why I still think he's still a really powerful card and still going to be played in rotation in this upcoming rotation format. For Unlimited, I haven't played too much of Shadow. I haven't played Shadow in Unlimited yet, so I don't think Immortal Thing was even played in Unlimited, but let me know if I was wrong about that. Same as Magic Illusionist. I'm mainly talking about rotation because I play that format more, but Magic Illusionist, D-Shift is more popular in rotation, so Magic Illusionist, like, not really going to affect much in Unlimited. And And the same for Immortal Things. I don't think it's going to change much in the unlimited format. So the last card that they are balance changing is Bahamut. Of course, this card has been very dominating since its release, especially in Dragoncraft. So basically, they're changing its stat line from 1313 to a 99, which is, I think, the biggest stat change they've done to a card before. And then they're also changing its fanfare effect, so now it doesn't destroy your amulets, it only destroys all other followers. And they're keeping the attack condition the same. So I think these nerfs are actually a really big change. First of all, for the stat line, 1313 to a 99. Before, when you dropped Bahamut, your opponent was always afraid that if it could hit you, that you're going to be able to clear the board once they refill, and then hit them in the face for 13 damage and you just win. Which was a lot of times true. Dragoncraft, they have like Scythers, they have Salamander's Breath to clear your board again. Bahamut hits you for the win. So with 9-9, for 9 attack, from 13 attack to 9 attack, it's a really big deal because maybe you could survive a Bahamut hit now. But also, being at 9-9, there's a lot more ways you could trade into Bahamut. So things like Portalcraft could trade into Bahamut a lot more easily with like their rush artifacts. Sahakwa Israfil can now trade into Bahamut before it couldn't, even if you evolve the Israfil. Well, I guess you could evolve the Sahakwa and kill it, but then you trade 2 for 1, which is so bad. So having it at 9-9, there's a lot more ways you could trade into Bahamut to remove him. Of course, you could still have removal effects that still remove him the same way. And the effect where you can't destroy amulets is also a really big deal because in Dragoncraft recently, a lot more people have been including the card Dragon Canyon. I'll show you that card right now. So a lot more people have been playing Canyon of the Dragons in their Dragon list, and since one of the things that could punish these kind of amulets, expensive amulets, or even things like Summit Temple, Acceleratium, is that Bahamut was able to remove them. But now that Bahamut can't remove these cards, a lot more people could play amulet cards and not be punished by the Bahamut. So I do really like this change because now amulets are more playable and you don't have to worry about Bahamut clearing them every time. So I really like this change. I do think Bahamut was a way too powerful legendary card, even though it's getting rotated out to Unlimited soon. And in Unlimited, he's got weaker too as well because, of course, Dragoncraft, you could play it in Unlimited, and they are of course playing Bahamut. So overall, Bahamut is a weaker card. However, I do think he is a playable card. You still want to play him because he clears the board, destroys every other follower, and he's still better than the new dragon, like the Dragoncraft Bahamut version, which was Frenzy Drake. This is like the Bahamut wannabe. Even Frenzy Drake is still less stats than the Bahamut is. So I do think Bahamut's still a very good card. It's still going to be played in Dragoncraft, of course, just because it's a good board removal. It's just that they made him a lot more balanced, just because it's easier to trade into, doesn't remove amulets, and people can now play their amulet cards. So that's it for the cards that they have balance change. However, for Unlimited, they did say that they were going to limit some cards back in Shadowverse Next, and that is being implemented in this upcoming update as well. So one of the cards that are getting limited, so you can only play one of in your deck, is Bloodwolf. And this makes sense because Aggro Blood was very powerful in Unlimited, so making the 2 play point 2/1 Storm go down to 1 makes a lot of sense, especially because they just released the new Wolf that's a 3 play point 2/2 Storm. So just having Bloodwolf into the new Wolf, just so much Storm damage. So Aggro Blood gaining the hit in Unlimited format, I really like this change. I think it was probably one of the better cards that they could make go down to 1, just because it's just a really good burn card that was 2 cost. So liking this Unlimited change, not too much to say about it, it's just overall good. Don't really see a downside to it. Another card they announced that they're limiting is Aria, Guiding Fairy. So I'm actually really happy that they decided to limit Aria over Rhinoceros. Of course, I don't want Rhinoceros to go down to 1 because that would feel bad. But so Rhinoceros being like one of the biggest identities in Forestcraft, a dominating card in Unlimited, they haven't touched it. Instead, they're indirectly nerfing it by limiting Aria, so you can only play 1 Aria in your deck now. So I think this is a really good limit. Unfortunately, because I do like playing OTK Roach in a limited right now, just because it's so powerful, so consistently getting your combos. But Aria did need to be limited, even though it is a recently released card, and limiting a new card feels kind of bad on the business standpoint, but it does make a lot of sense in the gameplay standpoint, because Fairy Wisp always being 0 cost, you can bounce it back, replay it for free. It's just so good for your combo Roach. So I do think this change is needed, and I'm really happy that I pulled 7 Arias now, because now I can get the full value of my Vials, so that feels good, at least. So yeah, these were all the changes that they're implementing for the upcoming patch. Again, that's coming out tomorrow, January 23rd, and they also said that they're going to do some more changes later on in February. It's actually going to be quite early, like February 15th is going to be the next update, and then March like 20 something for the March update. So yeah, I'll post the article down below in the description so you can read that for more detailed information, their explanations on why they have nerfed and limited these cards. Comment down below on what you think about these nerfs and limits, and do you like them, do you hate them, do you think that it could have been done differently? Just let me know down below, and if you liked the video, make sure you give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.